Welcome back to Mindful Minutes, the podcast where we slow down just enough to question how modern businesses are actually growing. I'm your host, Tanay, and in the last episode, we spoke about signals and how most companies are sitting on intelligence but not capturing it. Today, I want to go one level deeper. I think even in companies that do track something, they're probably tracking the wrong thing. They're tracking status, won, lost, disqualified, etc. But the problem is, statuses tell you what happened. They never tell you why it happened. And if you don't understand why you're losing deals, you're not building a strategy. You're just repeating outcomes. So today, let's break down something I call a disposition audit. A simple but powerful way to turn every deal into strategic intelligence. Now you may call it a signal extraction system or simply, like I say, disposition audit. But what we are trying to address is the illusion of tracking deals. Let's start with what most CRMs look like. So a deal is marked as closed won, closed lost, maybe no response, or maybe budget issue in some cases. And everyone feels good because we're tracking data. But let me ask you, if 30 deals are marked as lost due to budget issue, what exactly are you supposed to do with that? Should I reduce price or target even bigger companies or change positioning? You don't know, right? Because budget issue is not a reason. It's an escape label. Now, why do sales team default to these shallow dispositions? It's not a sales problem. Sales team default to these shallow inputs because they're optimizing for speed and not documentation. The CRM doesn't demand depth, and honestly, no one is using that data meaningfully anyway. So over time, the system trains them to think, just close the deal, fill something, move on. And marketing looks at this data and tries to extract insights, which is like trying to build a strategy from incomplete sentences. Sounds hilarious, right? Now, the shift from status to structured intelligence, it takes time, and you need to start implementing certain things. Stop treating dispositions as end states and start treating them as intelligence capture points. Every deal, especially the lost deals, is a moment of truth. The buyer has evaluated you, compared you, and decided. That's the closest you will ever get to understanding your market. And yet, most companies reduce that moment to a drop down. I'm sure almost everybody will agree, at least those who have worked on this. Now, when we are building a disposition intelligence model, the core framework has to be practical, right? And let's say if you are a marketing manager or a founder, this is something you need to start implementing immediately. So, how do I start it? A good disposition system should have 4 layers. The first one, I believe, is a primary outcome layer, which is a very simple layer with basic classification: closed won, closed lost, disqualified, no decision. So there's nothing fancy here. This is not where insight is coming from. So this is just the primary outcome. The layer 2 is where the root cause analysis or cluster is there. This changes everything. So instead of random reasons, how about we define fixed clusters, stating, let's say, value misalignment or pricing sensitivity or ICP mismatch, timing issue, cost deficit, feature gap. Now, instead of saying 100 different vague reasons, you have a structured pattern now. With all these defined fixed clusters, you can go to the root cause and then build on this with the evidence capture end or layer, you can say. This layer is what is the missing link. This is where most systems actually fail. because we don't tag a reason, we just capture evidence behind the reason. Okay, for example, instead of saying pricing issue, we say client compared with X competitor and felt ROI unclear within 6 months. Instead of saying no decision, we start by saying internal misalignment or alignment missing between CTO and procurement. Now this data becomes gold. Now marketing will now understand the context behind this label and make better intelligence around it. Layer 4 is where marketing action begins or mapping begins. And probably this is where the actual strategy foundation is also laid. I would like to believe that this is the step which companies right now completely ignore, and every disposition cluster, since it's not mapped, you can't have a clear marketing action around it. Let's take the examples that we built earlier. Value misalignment. So what to do with value misalignment? Rework on your positioning. I know it's a big task, but at least you understand you have to work on your positioning. The second was, let's say, trust deficit. How do I address this? Add proof, add more case studies, build credibility. How do I address ICP mismatch? Fix the targeting. Pricing sensitivity, strengthen the value narrative. So now your CRM is not just tracking deals, it will drive a strategy. And this works in parallel, in tandem. So what it changes for marketing manager is the role evolves. You are no longer someone who just run campaigns, track leads, or reports on performance. You suddenly become someone who understands why deals move or don't. You can identify a pattern across the pipeline and feed those insights back into the GTM strategy. Most importantly, you stop asking sales, why did we lose this deal? Because your system already tells you. Now, this takes time, but like I mentioned, it's a step-by-step process. You have to start somewhere. You started today, probably 3 months down the line, you move to the second layer, where you understand a lot more about the pattern. Another quarter, this system is running 100%. You want it down the line H1 or H2, you have to start today. The real power of a disposition audit is when you run this properly, something powerful happens. The powerful thing is you start seeing pattern like, we lost mid-market deals due to trust gaps. Or if you're into enterprise, those deals stalled due to internal alignment issues. Or inbound leads convert worse than outbound for this segment. Now your strategy will not be based on opinions. It will be based on repeated reality. Let me leave you with something slightly more uncomfortable maybe. If your CRM cannot clearly tell you why you're losing deals, it's not a revenue system. It's just a reporting tool, and reporting tools don't create growth. Learning systems do. Winning deals feels good, but lost deals are where your market is being truly or brutally honest with you. If you can build a system that captures this honesty clearly, consistently, and at scale, you don't just improve conversion, you probably build a business that gets smarter with every single no. Next episode will be about sales enablement, not just supporting sales, but extracting intelligence from them. Until then, stay curious, stay strategic, and don't just track your deals. Learn from them. Until next time, this is Tanay Sarpudar. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.